ought to produce outcomes that make it more likely that Americans can work instead of not work. Yes, I feel strongly about the sanctity of life, and millions of religious Americans do, which is why, even though Jim has a different perspective on the morality of all this, overwhelmingly, as you know, Candy, the more religious an American is, the more likely they are to vote for conservative candidates. That's been the trend for decades.
It is true, and the polls continue to show that people who identify themselves as religious, which is how many times, I guess we use how many times you go to church, they are overwhelmingly Republican.
And that changed significantly in 2008, changed back in 2010. Though I'm less interested in those voting patterns as what the issues are. I think it's changing. The National Association of Evangelicals, the bishops, these are not religious left organizations. We're part together of a circle of protection around those programs most critical to the survival of low-income people around the world and here at home. So we're breaking up those old categories. Richard Land and I last week on Morning Joe talked about international aid being a critical issue that we as sojourners and Southern Baptists all are trying to support, or immigration reform. So I think things are changing. The left-right categories are too narrow. People of faith have to go across those boundaries and talk about what are the biblical issues for us.
Okay, let me give you the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, look, whatever's going on with various organizations, millions of faith-based voters do vote on ideas like whether all of our children should be welcomed into the world, protected by the life. If you protected by the law, if you care about the poor, you should support policies that promote economic growth, that lower the tax burden on the American people, because that would stimulate the kind of growing economy that helps everyone, including the millions of Americans in the last 3 years that have fallen into poverty and food stamps and so forth because of the failed policies in Washington, D.C.
I need a one-word answer. Would it matter if the president were a Mormon?
No.
His moral compass matters, and supporting kids after they're born, too, would be something we could agree on.
Thank you so much. Reverend Wallis, Gary Bauer, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Up next, top stories, and then on Fareed Zakaria GPS, an